Hi, my name is Melanie. Today is Thursday, January 14th, 2016. This is discussion recording number 1, and my first question I chose to talk about was in chapter 4, and it said, did it surprise you that the suicide bombers were women? And this had to do with the video that was there that talked about the attack in Moscow in the metro station, where it was said that 2 suicide bombers that were women went down to the metro station and set off a bomb that killed roughly about 36, but it could have been more or so. What else happened? And this metro station is said to be one of the biggest in the world, or the busiest. They said about 7 million, if not more, people use this station every day. So you can see it. You can see why that would be a pretty huge target. I would have to say that I'm not that surprised that women were the suicide bombers, because most women in all these countries from these different groups, they're not seen as much. They're pretty much seen as nothing. So being given such a huge task, like giving up their lives to set off a bomb for what they believe in, you can see why that would be something pretty huge for them. It would give them purpose, meaning, because since they're already seen as mostly nothing, volunteering to say, hey, I want to give up my life for this thing that we believe in. Even though I'm dying with meaning, I'm dying with a purpose. So it gives them importance, whereas any other aspect in their lives, for the most part, they're just seen as whatever, as nothing. So yeah, I'm not really that surprised that there were women. If it was, something like that in America, then yeah, it would be pretty surprising, because most of the time women, or you don't see like women being thrown out there like that. It's mostly men first for the most part, but I can't say that I'm that caught off guard. The second question was from chapter 5, and it said the attack on and the collapse of the WTC, which is World Trade Center, were shown repeatedly for a number of days. This film, like the previous film, dramatized the tragedy. Do you think the film should have been made? So I watched this video that was there, and it basically just showed, what was it? I think it was the flight that was on its way to Virginia, I believe. And what it was, it was Flight 93, or United 93. And it was just everyone that was on that flight, and the plane had already been hijacked. The pilots were already killed, and the terrorists were already behind. Were in the control room, and everybody was freaking out. And there was this one group that was planning on what their next move was going to be, what they should do. So what happened was they sent first the flight attendants to go in the back to gather up whatever weapons that they could find, and then they started saying, oh, you're a big man, come back here and help. So one by one they kept going back and discussing on what their next move was going to be. So they were going to plan on taking the bomb and this or the other. Meanwhile, you see all the little side stories about people calling their families, crying, freaking out. You see them praying. Meanwhile, the terrorist is going back and forth, threatening, like, you sit down. So it was this whole chaos and, like, different emotions, different things going on this flight. As far as dramatizing goes, the media always likes to, like, amp up things like a notch or two, obviously, for entertainment purposes. But in this case, or for any, like, tragedy case or any big event, I don't think they're doing it just for entertainment per se, but more to bring awareness of what's going on or what happened. So people won't pay attention as much when you give them like, the real hardcore facts, because let's face it, a lot of people nowadays like the drama, like the big, like if something's mega dramatic, they'll be like, oh, what's that? They're going to pay more attention to it. So they're not doing it like, oh, we just want to entertain people. They know that that's how they're going to get everybody's attention. So how are they going to do that? Make this huge tragedy even bigger and more dramatic, so that they can make people understand, you know, this is what happened, really. So another part of it, they can't really explain to a T what happened and how all those people felt, because unfortunately there were no survivors on that flight or from that flight. So nobody can really like depict what they were feeling, what they were saying, how they were acting. It's just a whole different, like a whole thing of emotions, and they, you know, they tried the best that they can. But for the most part, I think the video also did a good job of getting the idea across that, you know, these people were very, very scared, and they knew, you know, they felt hopeless, and they knew that the chances of them coming out of that alive was very, very slim, and they just wanted to show the rest of the world that, you know, this actually happened. This isn't just something we want to give to you to feed your, and you know, your interest and everything. We want you to understand that this is what happened. This actually happened, and this can't happen any moment. And they want to prevent that, but they want people to understand what was going on. So I think they should have made the video. I think it's a good idea that they do make these videos, because, you know, it's a good way for people to really, really understand what, you know, the U.S. went through, and what many families went through, and what even these people went through at that time. And we want to try to prevent that and bring awareness. You know, we don't want anybody else to feel this way, to feel this scared or this terrorized or this whatever else they were feeling. So that's what I guess they work towards, and they want people to know, like, this is why possibly they're so strict, and this is why they do what they do, to prevent or to control something like that from happening again. And, you know, I think it was good overall, and if that's the way that they get people to understand and they grasp everybody's attention, then I don't see anything that wrong with it. So, yeah.